So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another scene for Edessa, the Dark Crusade. So dark. Wherein our lovely Mina has sent a lovely letter to a lovely man. Um, Aldrich has received a message carried probably by one of Mina's retinue, um, inviting him, essentially inquiring, politely to his health, like one does, even though we're dead. Just seems like the polite thing to do. But inquiring to his health, letting him know that she would very much like a chance to talk to him when he has a moment free, of course. She would hate to edge in on his busy days. And, if he doesn't have another neutral place in mind, there is this library up in Justinopolis Mount that she has been poking through, and she imagines he'd just find lovely. And we'll basically say you can send word back through, the one who's carried this letter. He'll bring it back to me.
You get back a simple parchment with but a single word on it that says yes.
Good man. And yeah, Mina will make sure that she is actually dressed presentably for this because, well, Justinopolis Mount is a place where some fancy people go, and the palace is up there in meh. Um, and we'll go, I imagine, to this library.
So Aldrich puts on some of his more um, conservative robes, ones that look more, I suppose, more fitting to go to church in, given how grand of a cathedral is there. Um, and takes. I think he has a carriage. Should he have a? He should have a carriage. You know what? Let's say it, and if it's wrong, I'll never say it again.
No, there you
Takes a
go.
yeah, takes a carriage up through some of the districts until he gets to Justinopolis Mount, a place that he hasn't actually been before, I don't think. And seeing past some of the churchgoers at night, seeing the local area, he just kind of has ooh, ah kind of moments. He is sightseeing and makes it to the aforementioned library and takes his sweet ass time getting in.
Sadly, I cannot comment to the size of said library because I only just learned it existed today, so I'll have to flesh them details out later. But it is easy enough to say that Mina is already inside, and bless his little heart, um, Aldrich will see the most unlikely of things, which is that Mina is actually combing through the books in a very dedicated fashion when he finally finds her. Not necessarily like she's not just touching everything because that's rude and these eventually wear and tear, and words are so time consuming to write out for all, tome after tome after tome. But she's definitely kind of searching through the bindings for some reason or another.
Um, Aldrich, Al, Al comes on
Ooh.
by.
Oh my god, please. Let her call you Al.
Be my
Or just don't
bodyguard.
or just don't stab her when she calls you Al. It'll be fine.
Me, when you call me, you can call me Al. No, but very coolly and calmly makes his way over and has the polite etiquette hand on the chair. I can't remember if it's the left or right that you get the chair with. Um, but holds a hand on the back and moves it slightly just to get her attention. Um, when he does, he says, Amina, good to see her.
And yeah, she weirdly seems really driven for some reason or another, but as soon as the chair scoots, she'll snap a glance around at her higher energy level. So it's a very quick little like twist about. The smile almost immediately spreads across her lips. Good evening, Aldrich Wise.
So interesting to see you in the library. Is there something specific you're looking for?
She kind of muses for a second, as someone like her would do, and turns a side glance to the shelves. I'm not sure, but I haven't found it yet.
Aldrich puts on the most polite face he can and internal monologues. I can't believe I expected a different answer from a Malkavian. But gestures towards the seat that he has his hand on and says, "Mind if I have a seat?"
Oh, no, please do.
And he sits down.
And yeah,
Yeah.
she'll flit over to the table and join him.
So is there a particular topic you're looking to know more on, or?
Technically, yes. I have to ask a question before I can ask a question. And she kind of perches forward, not completely into a rude slouch or anything, but just that slight forward lean of interest. And I will be so bold as to presume they are lacking for company, seeing as it is nighttime at a library.
Mm.
I have heard that you and yours can do an awful lot with blood. Oh, and I appreciate the bottles. I'll make sure I spread word.
And he offers a smile and a polite bow of head. Thank you so kindly, Mina. I'm glad that we could be of mutual assistance.
I hope so. There are worse things I could be than useful. But, I can't think of a polite way to ask. Um, when it comes to blood like ours, and the bonds it makes, are you and yours able to break them?
And Aldrich Aldrich shifts a bit in his chair and even raises a hand to rub his chin some and say, "Interesting. A very interesting question. Assuming that I was able to do such a thing, why and to whom?"
And she almost takes up a sheepish expression, really, and takes to fiddling with the end of a bit of her hair. It's again not the most high etiquette kind of behavior, but gosh darn it, she's trying and she's always fidgeting. So I may or may not be on the receiving side of a very difficult lesson. And the lesson's not over until I fix it.
I see. Hmm. How do you how are you so aware of this bond you hold? Is this lesson very plainly stated, then?
Yes. Yes, it was. She, in fact, seems kind of, there's just a tinge of kind of a stiff, stubborn sort of expression. Like, she still wears the smile, but it gets a little more fake, almost, as if she's kind of trying so hard not to drop it at the idea. There's plainly some small amount of bitterness there.
Hmm. What does it feel like, this bond?
And she casts him a side glance. Markedly thoughtful one before her eyes kind of glitter, and she just grins again, this time more earnestly. Distracting.
Distracting, you say? Would you say it's something that persists, something that hinders your, what's the phrase?
Free will?
I was going to say quality of life, but let's say free will.
You know, it does. Just the slightest bit. It was only one drink. It's not as bad as it could be, but it's very distracting. I don't like it.
Assuming that this were to happen, understand that there are components which are difficult to acquire. This comes at a bit of a risk and is not without price.
She finally slacks back a bit into the chair. Well, I didn't expect it to be free. And what if I get these things for you? Whatever these things are.
Well, that would make it possible. This Domitor of yours, are you able to acquire some of their vitae?
And as Mina do, her eyes kind of take up that just glittering um almost anticipation. As again, it's just the broad toothy smile. I'd have fun trying.
You have an excellent spirit about you, Mina.
I do try. There's not a lot of things a fledgling can really appeal to a person with. You've got more power than I do. You have more knowledge than I do. Can at least have a winning personality.
There's one more component that perhaps you could provide now.
What's that?
In order to assumedly enact whatever theoretical procedure this would be, one would require the name of the Domitor.
No.
While I respect your anonymity, certain things cannot be changed, I am afraid.
You're gonna laugh at me.
Hmm. can assure you I will not intend to.
She finally kind of loosens up enough to, rock back and then forward again in the chair, snickering.
Yeah, he cracks a smile.
You hide it. But you're at least a little fun.
And he kind of pats the table a little bit with that smile still holding, and he says, "I told her I was fun."
Um, it's Garnet.
Oh, how interesting.
Isn't it, though?
Lessons from a brother to a sister. Hmm. Well, assuming you could provide the aforementioned component, perhaps give me some time to consider, as it does come with risks not only to yourself, but to myself as well.
No, I can't have that.
Indeed. For if he were to find out that such a bond were broken, and to whom it had done the breaking, well, that would certainly complicate matters.
Her head tilts faintly to the side. I dare say he'd thank you for making me more tractable. But no, he's already laughed in my face. Told me it was a lesson. Told me to figure out how to fix it myself.
Interesting indeed.
I suppose there are worse people that could have done it.
Can certainly think of a few that I would rather step out into the sun than be bonded to.
Just so.
Um, in the meantime, how have your how have your nights been with all of these vermin scrolling their ways through the city, spreading their vileness?
She tilts her head, like for just half a moment. Profitable. When it really comes down to it. Busy. Though
Excellent.
the new tactic
Sorry.
is. Oh no, you're good. Though the new tactic gets less and less entertaining every time we do it. I wonder if we can get more.
The new tactic. So you've taught Alonso new tricks then, yes?
I have. Turns out he is very, very gifted when it comes to herding instead of just hunting.
Excellent. Never had luck with animals myself, so.
It seems to be a common problem.
It's so strange, if I may say so, that such such a such an excellent relationship between canine and animal were to exist, and not a gangrel or a Nosferatu.
And oh, how she smiles. And she will be a terrible, rude child and lean back in the chair and actually pull up her legs so that she can wrap her arms around them. It must run in the family.
Hmm. I must say, and I hope this does not come across as rude. I mean it only with the purest of sincerities, but you're both very interesting people.
I don't see how that's rude.
Indeed. Neither do I. However, there are those out there, even that peruse the halls of Elysium, but cannot stomach words that resemble even the slightest taste of poison. Oh, venom, excuse me. Say venom, not poison.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, she continues to just have that kind of gleeful, not dangerously glittering, but just gleefully kind of glimmering smile. The eyes kind of dance a bit. I should rather like to be interesting, I think, instead of normal. I think you find we're not as easy to insult as some. We know what we are. And I'll tell you, I've been called many worse things than interesting.
Admittedly, I've heard whispers myself. People can be so cruel needlessly, but
The hand kind of comes up to cover her mouth for half a moment as if like, oh, say it's not so, essentially. Very, very played up.
and yeah, he'll even put a hand on his chest and open his mouth as if to gasp. Very yeah, yeah.
This delights her. Very, very clearly. Just delights her.
So, when we last spoke, there were musings of whispers, messages, as it were.
Hmm.
Ones that added to the mystery of this whole affair with the plague and the individuals behind it.
Oh, do
But
you know who the wishing woman is?
admittedly, I have still more research to do into this wishing woman.
What about the
But
demise? You know who that is?
demise. You speak demise as if it is a name.
I do.
Demise, no. I suppose I should look into that as well then. This demise. May I ask what the context of such a name was given in?
And oh, she grins, and you can tell she's just so eager to see his reaction. She goes, oh, the voice in my head. Very smug. Acted like I was stupid for not knowing, but you know, no one else seems to know either. I think he was just being rude.
I see. And just mentally, like, scratches that off of his notepad. So then, I suppose these whispers have provided nothing insightful towards the identity of this wishing woman, clues about this woman's whereabouts or importance, etc.
Oh, no, but I haven't been in the Prophet's Corner. I didn't know it was written there until Johanna said so. The voice told me that too.
I see. And inside his own head, the pen just like moves backwards and erases the scratch out lines. Hmm.
Don't worry, he wasn't one of my voices.
He tilts his head to the side some. What's in
Oh,
front of you? Sorry.
no, not one of mine.
This voice, then. Is this voice perhaps Demise?
I think so. I think so. He didn't specifically say, but I think so. He sounded very smug about the whole thing, and he wouldn't tell me his name. Not until the very, very end.
Interesting. One who calls themselves Demise. Sounds very smug and prideful indeed.
Oh, he is. And on and on.
So, you know, it is a he.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
Nothing further about that mass of shadows, then, either, I suppose.
Your nose wrinkles. The ones from Elysium.
Indeed, the ones that injured you and your kind.
No. I haven't seen it again. Don't want to see it again.
Agreed, I suppose it is a devious thing indeed.
Yeah. Never had him do that.
Speaking of never had them do that, had you heard about the news regarding the... Hang on, I think it's the Prophet's Quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, news regarding the Prophet's Quarters. I heard whispers of an alarming number of rats. Sounds like quite the business enterprise.
Well, I heard too. I heard that they moved like a wave, all together. Not like normal rats.
Imagine it would be a bit of an alarming sight to see such a torrent, perhaps, of vermin just consuming everything in their path.
Oh, there are smaller swarms in Riverside. And they'll do it. To people. Or to me, if I don't have Alonzo. Wouldn't do it to you. Little swarms, though. And they're still just rats. They still scatter. But I hear those ones. Like I said, I heard it was like a wave. All moving together. Like they were all part of one bigger thing.
Bizarre. We're,
Very.
for- we're fortunate not to have that in other parts of the city. Though
Funny. Think about it. Rats don't usually respect border walls.
Indeed. Though unfortunate that it should be the prince's domain. One would one would wish that to be among the most safe of districts.
I would say calculated instead of unfortunate.
Is that so?
You think the rats did it by themselves? That many all moving together?
Perhaps not. But I suppose the sentiment I wish to extend was the the misfortune of it being the prince's domain. Of any given official, of any Cainite, should be the highest.
I suppose you're right.
You speak of calculations. Do you consider yourself a tactician?
Oh, me? No. But he does. He told me all about it. How clever he was. A good tactician always has a plan, she says, leaning her head to one side. And then leaning it to the other, a good tactician knows that the plan never survives the battlefield. On and on and on.
I'm gonna have to roll some willpower.
Why willpower?
I was there that night. Well, it's a fail, but not a botch. So, um, Aldrich's the flat hand that he's kept on the countertop. Um, his index finger just immediately starts to tap, and his expression, his old people expression, um, instantly fades to that of a that of an old person that's just like someone very conservative that just heard that something very liberal was in their house.
Oh, oh
You know,
my.
just all of the happy wrinkles turn into what wrinkles?
That pucker face, though.
Um,
Ooh. And she straightens her head slowly back up from the side it had leaned to and starts just kind of watching. Wait, like obviously expecting him to say something. Her eye will flit down to the tapping briefly, but no, she will suddenly just be all expectant ears. Ooh, the face though.
about covers it. Yeah,
Oh
just
yeah.
that. What? Okay, there we go. What? But,
So good.
yeah. Um, upon hearing that bit recited again, um, he he really takes a moment to think of the words to say, and when he finally thinks of something, he says, "I believe I've heard those words before. This demise was it?"
I think so, yeah. That's the only name he gave. And he's certainly not the wishing woman.
Very interesting. Does this demise speak to you often?
Oh no, he doesn't answer me anymore.
I see. I see.
It was just the one time. But he did talk and talk and talk.
What did he say? Anything other than how he views his tactics?
It was her turn to kind of take a moment to think, to sit back, to pick her words. Nothing else helpful, I don't think. But it was the night that the rats came out. And I don't know why he thinks I'm going to march up to the prince and be a messenger. But he said to tell him he was coming. While his quarter fell to ruin.
Can't help but wonder if this demise has made such a promised, or such an appearance as promised yet.
Appearance?
Yes, as you said, he is coming, is he not?
Well, yeah. But coming can mean a very long time.
Indeed. Did he imply it was a very long time?
He didn't say. I feel like he thinks he's playing. Please tell me chess is time period appropriate.
Oh yeah, we played a lot here.
Okay, thank God. It's like he thinks he's playing a big invisible game of chess. He sounded like someone who plays chess. He kind of gives a firm nod.
Indeed. Perhaps he should make an appearance. I wish to play.
Do you want me to tell him the next time he talks to me? And oh, how she grins, because it's kind of the do you dare me, essentially.
I'm gonna roll willpower. Because I don't know how cocky I feel. 2 successes. So, he smiles and looks down at the table and thinks for a moment. He says, "No, I suppose I'd wish to tell him myself, in the event that we ever met."
Oh, of course.
In fact, someone that holds themselves to such high regard should be met with some level of respect.
I'm sure he thinks so.
Well then, Mina, you've given me much to contemplate, much to think on, much to look into, and I thank you for this.
A little present from me to you. If it was really useful, if it's very, very engaging, just remember it the next time I need a bottle.
Indeed.
She like briefly pokes her tongue out, make it very clear that that is something that he can choose to do at his own discretion and not something she expects.
Yeah, he pantomimes reaching over to poke it, but doesn't get anywhere close.
It snaps back in all the same. And it's back to her just ever so cheery smile.
Yes. However, if you've no further use of me, I think it best that I begin looking into these such contemplations.
And she just she nods and takes up a distracted look for a moment, glancing over to another set of shelves and nibbling on her lips before finally looking back to him and rousing up first to offer a little approximation of a curtsy that's at least, not over the top, but polite, if not immaculate.
Oh, and before I go,
Mhm.
may I have my letter back?
Oh, And she fishes around a bit, but we'll retrieve it and hand it back.
Thank you kindly. And unless stopped, he will politely give an etiquette 3 bow
Etiquette 3. Whew.
and turn to leave.
And she'll almost immediately, as he turns about and has taken a few steps, he'll hear her pattering to another shelf and returning to a very, very animated search for something she just can't put her finger on. And I dare say with that, we can say thank you, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. And we will see you next time in Edessa, the Dark Crusade.